All right, thank you so much, future me. That was a great start to the presentation. I will go ahead and take it away from here and go ahead and explain this code that we got here. So this is the new version. It's going to be new and improved, as I just told you. And start off with importing some modules. And the client said that they wanted to change the color of the system to green. So that's what this does right here at the top. And then give them like a heads up. Hey, we're importing some modules. Give it a minute. This does take sometimes up to a minute to import ArcPy and this move module. So once that's done, it'll close that out and give us a fresh, clean command window and give us a nice label for the top of the page. Tell us what we're working with. And then it starts doing what it does. So it'll import this MXD, which is where we're getting the parking spaces from. And it will put it into ArcPy and the data structure that ArcPy creates it in as this map document here. So now that is saved as MXD, and we can call that in the other ArcPy to create the PDFs. So then we ask the user, hey, do you want to export all, individual, or exit? This is the part where I have eliminated all of the errors that could be possible in the former code. And now it will go into this double while loop. So this outer while loop, while not break outer loop. So you can see I set break outer loop to false. So while this is equal to false, it will keep on running. So we'll get into that later. Then we have this inner while loop. And so if they did select one up here and press enter, then it will set this pages to all, and all pages will will print, and then it'll break this inner while loop and go on and proceed to after the while loop down here. So, and then if they select two, it will set the page range. And then if they select three, like, hey, I actually didn't mean to open this program, I just want to exit. There's also that option here, and it will break not only the inner while loop, but it will set this break outer loop to true. And so it will then go straight back up here, break this, and break out of all of the while loops. Let's say they put in four, they missed a key, or they put in E that's right below, or W is right below two. Maybe they missed a key and got the wrong thing. It will go into this, it will set the system color to red, and it will, this is a artifact of the old code. They really liked this, you have angered the Python, press enter. So it will do that, and then it will go back to green and give us a fresh window, and then start back from the top, and then the inner while loop will start over again after that. So that's the inner while loop right there, and then we have a conditional statement here. If that breakout loop was set to true here in this line, then break. So it will break out of the whole loop automatically right there, and it actually won't even go back up to the top. It'll just proceed after the loop. So pretty cool there to have that option. And then if the page range, if they wanted to select a page range, and if they selected two, that will call up, hey, we need some more input from you. What pages do you want to export? And then it prints out, okay, that page will be exported here. But if it's set to all or anything else, which it can only be set to all, then it will just set this page number to an empty string, and we'll continue on with what this does. So after that's over, we'll run the space counter. This takes a little bit of time each phase. So every line is commented, so they will see this in the command window. They'll see, oh, it's still running. It's counting the spaces now. Oh, now it's running this pivot table. And now it's calculating total. And then after it gets through all of this, it will have a nice database that's cleaned and counted the spaces right. So then it deletes the temporary files, and so then it gives them a prompt. Hey, it was successful. Now we're creating the pages, and it does this mxd data driven pages export to PDF, and this is what actually makes all of our PDFs. And if you get all of the pages, it's over 200 PDFs. So it does take a while for this code to run. So I will be taking out this line for the demo portion. So, but yeah, this will make all of the page range or page numbers that you need. All of these are different inputs into this function that is housed within ArcPy. So pretty cool little deal. And then it'll give them a prompt, hey, pages were created successfully, press enter. And then it'll give them a fresh screen. That's what this os.system close does. So it'll give them a fresh screen and it'll start doing this another inner while loop, I guess. So if they selected all, there's no more pages that can be chosen to export. So it will just automatically break out of this loop and continue on with the rest of the code. If it's set to some other, the other value, I think it's only other one other value that it can be set to. So if it's set to that, it asks, hey, would you want to export some more pages, or are you done? So if you do yes, you've chosen to export more pages, press enter. It gives them a new fresh screen, and it starts from the very beginning again. It goes right back into that parking lots page creator. Do you want to export all, individual, or exit? Goes back up into that top while loop right away. And then so if they chose to, like, no, I don't need to export more pages. It will just break out of this inner while loop and outer while loop at the same time. And by setting this break outer loop equal to true. So it'll break out of this inner while loop, which is the end of the outer while loop. And then it'll see, oh, this is set to true. So it will not run the while loop. And it'll break back down to just down here. So pretty cool. This was not in the old script. If you wanted to export single pages one at a time, you had to rerun the script every time that you wanted to do it. So this is a pretty cool new addition. They didn't even ask for this, but I gave it to him, and he's like, "Wow, that's really good." So I like that feature. So yeah, this is the same while loop as before up above. You've anchored the Python in red, and then it closes the screen and says, do you want to do one or two? You only have two options here, because if you do anything else in the else statement, it will run this code again. Like, hey man, you're stupid, do one or two. And yeah, that's pretty cool little explanation of like while loops with conditional statements to give little error messages without closing the code, basically. Pretty nifty. So then it deletes all these variables that it doesn't need to free up some memory for the deal. And then it sets so this is the original drive that the PDFs are in. And then we need to move all those files to this drive. So those variables will come up in the code down here. So this 6 lines of code replaces about 30 lines of code in the old code. And then these lots here are all, they have like special renaming. So like it goes from blin1 to relis-blin. So like it's hard to do that within a for loop and get everything to be correctly named. So like this one, lot 8004 gets turned into relis food truck. Like there's no way that I can do that with a for loop. So there is quite a bit of hard coding here, but that's all because of the new or the names renaming not being easily controlled through a for loop. So so yeah, then we have the regular renaming here. So this along with the code to delete the garages at the top here, this for loop saves you can see on the right side of my screen, all of those green lines are commented out as artifacts of what this code used to be. So it used to go on for a long time with every single one being renamed and moved by 2 lines. So quite a bit of, I think it's over 400 lines of code here. So that was slimmed down to maybe 15. So pretty great addition here. and it runs really fast. The path join to move the file name around. You just create the new file name. We wanted to replace this. We take it out of every single one, so we replaced it with nothing. There's just an empty string that we replace it with. We needed to replace lot with an empty string just to make sure all of the lots were out, and then replace all the spaces with no space. So pretty cool little code there to rename file names, and this is all going to go under the new file name. And we have the original file name, just file name from the for loop here. So it's going to go through every file in this G drive and test it for ends with PDF. And if it does, it's going to do this code. If it doesn't, then it's just going to go to the next file. And it's going to go through every single one of those files in that G drive. So any PDF in that file is going to be moved with this parameters on it. All of these characters are going to be taken out and replaced with nothing, and it's going to be moved to that T drive. So the destination path, T drive, new file name, source path is the G drive, and the original file name. And then you move from the source to the destination. Pretty nifty. Good way to move files around easily. Just add this little bit at the end of your code, and you can rename and move all in one action. Pretty nifty. And then it's like 10 lines of code, 8 lines of code. So yeah, pretty cool. All right, and now we're done. Export completed. You have done well. Press enter to exit. So you wanted a nice little exit thing. And like I said before, every line, there's going to be a print on the screen telling you, hey, this is where I am in the code. I'm still working if it's running not as quickly as possible. But these last lines run pretty quickly. It's the ArcPy that really takes a minute for some computers. So yeah. Then we delete all the erroneous variables and close out the system and give them a fresh command window. So yeah, that is the demo portion. Actually, let's go ahead and run the actual demo. It has a few of the ArcPy things removed, so it will actually run pretty quickly. But yeah, let's go ahead and start at the top. And we're going to move this over here. So we got our command window, and if you're in the command window, you can check what version of Python you're running just by doing this Python -- version. See, I'm running 2.7.18 because this code was written in when everything would be easier just to keep it in 2. So that's the route that I went here. So now we need to go to where our file is housed. So it's at this user/Scott 476. That's where all of my code is stored. We can press enter there. So now you can see here that it's at 476 is the directory we're in. So now let's run the demo. So to do that, you do Python space, and then you do the file name, demo.py. Hit enter. So we're importing those modules. Takes a minute for all the modules to get imported. All right, so now here we are. What do we want to do? Let's try 31. Oh no, what do we do? Do we have to close close the strip? No, we're back to the beginning. Nothing happened. Let's try. Let's do an individual first. So, what pages do you want to work? Export. So let's do page 43. 43 will be exported, and then this is where all of these will happen for the ArcPy script. So it will take a bit more time. So what we just went through. Sorry, let's backtrack and do this side by side. So this whole part is this inner while loop right here. So we're in the outer while loop, in the inner while loop. That's all of that error catching code that I just demonstrated. And then now we're down here, or we got some more input from the user. we stored what page number, and then exported, printed out okay, we're going to export that page. And then it did all of this, which is all of that pivot table and database creating and counting the spaces in each lot. And then it's like, hey, this is where we are now. This is, hey, it worked. Press enter. So it'll give us a fresh window and ask us, would you like to do more? That's where it comes in here. So let's say you got your choices of 1 or 2. So let's do 4. No, you can't do that. You have to select 1 or 2. Press enter. Okay. Well, let's say we do have to do more. Let's do it. Okay. You have chosen to export more pages. Press enter. Now we're back at the top. Let's say I actually meant to export all. So let's export all. All right, it did it. Everything was successful. Now, since you selected the all part, it will break the outer loop and the inner loop just by hitting enter here. Oops. A little mistake there. Go back to the command window. All right, so it's now on to the moving and renaming things. So remove these garages first because there's a separate script for the garages. And then we have all of those lines of code where it's moving and renaming the special ones. So, and then we have the final for loop to replace that like 400 lines of code. Is in like 10 lines there. So pretty great. And then after it's moved all that stuff, it's given us prompts and everything. Like, hey, we're moving garages finished. Hey, we got lots with special renaming moving. There's a bunch of those, but it doesn't really take too much time with the what is it? The move thing that I imported at the top. So yeah, it did all that and moved all our files, and you have done well. Press enter to exit, and that is it. You are done. Pretty cool. In the other code, I have it where it'll give them a fresh command window, but I didn't put that in the demo. But let's put that in there right now. Copy that over and put that there. All right, now it's saved, and that will give them a clean command window now at the end of that demo file. So, all right, thanks for listening. Future me, go ahead and take it away.